Hello, race fans, and welcome to Off Camber TV's coverage of the Pacific Majors. Tonight, we are here at the iconic Sebring International Raceway for the sportsman split of the 2 hours of Sebring, brought to you by Blackbird Anesthesia Consultants. This 17-turn, 3.74-mile course will push these drivers to the limits over the next 2 hours and provide close racing all throughout the different classes of cars. Joining me tonight in the booth is Donovan Johns and Cafe Hole, also known as David Williamson. How y'all guys doing tonight?
Yeah, doing well here. Here in Sebring, getting ready to watch another Predator format race here from the Northwest, or excuse me, the back majors. So excited to see what's going to happen here. Sebring's a difficult track. While these guys are going up the grid, I'll let David take over real quick and say hi.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's their I think third or fourth race of the season. Someone brought up in the forums it's they haven't left Florida yet, so maybe spring is just around the corner with the last race in Florida before they move on. But I'm looking forward to a great race, just like we had last year.
Yeah, it definitely should be a good race here. Now, with this Predator format, they're going to sit here and take the lap, the warm up. GT3s are going to go on green. There's going to be a little split, and then the GT1s
HPD.
will go, and then there's going to be a little split, and then the HPDs are going to go.
Yeah, so it's exciting to see the Predator format. They start the slowest cars, they run them for a few minutes for a spread. Then once those GT1s come out, things start getting really interesting because a lot of times GT1s tend to come out at the same time as the GT3s are passing, so they come right into traffic more times than not. And that makes it really exciting.
Yeah, and I'm sure that with the delayed times that they got coming in there, that some of these HPDs have got to be really careful not to sit in the pits too long and idle because last year we saw, I'm sure you remember, Donovan, some of these HPDs overheated and blew up and had
Oh,
to use up
yeah.
their fast repair.
At the Daytona 500, or excuse me, the 2.4 hours of Daytona, they were definitely blowing up in pit lane. Quite a few of them did.
Oh, yes. As they're rolling, we're going to try to give you as good of a starting grid as we can possibly do with the Predator format. It's kind of difficult to do, so going to raid off final practice times. Well, actually, we're just going to read the grid out of iRacing here. Got the 43 Paul Garinger on pole with the 944 of Brett Trosten in second, D. Palmer third. Then you have Drew Lalonde and Stephen Paulison rounding out your top five. Mark McFadden in the 48 and sixth, Chad Yoshitomi in seventh, John Ottenbacher eighth, Kip Leo ninth, Scott Kukas 10th, Aaron Stowe is in 11th, Mark Herzog in 12th, Christopher Sherburne in 13th, 14th goes to Bruce Snelson, Matt Gelder in 15th, Jeremy Morrison 16th, Michael Lane 17th, Garrett Hulsley in 18th, C.R. Reed in 19th, and Tom Dreiling going to round out your top 20. And you have Eddie Bussieri in 21st? Sure, let's go with that. Chris Beck in 22nd, Gary Nichols 23rd, Ernie Ludwig 24th, 25th went to Chris Branson, Jared Morgan in 26th, 27th is Scott Wanbaugh, Mark Redeker in 28th, 29th AJ Clark, and Mark Lossing in 30th. And rounding out your field is going to be Robert Laron, Eugene Wilkinson, Ray Forner, Tim Branson, and Seth Alberts. That is your 35 car field here for the 2 hours of Sebring.
Yeah, and as the cars roll on out, they're your first cars in the GT3 class, which are going to be on the track first. It starts off with your front row being C.R. Reed and Tom Drayling out in the front of those, hoping to get as big of a lead as they can before the GT1s and the HPDs are set loose.
Yeah, looking through the starting lineup here real quick. Shout out to Garrett Hulsley. This is his first race with the Pacific Majors, so he's going to do it with a challenge, running the GT3s in Sebring. That's going to be a lot of fun.
Does anybody know the split of when these cars are going to get released?
I had that information here just a moment ago, and I was thinking about talking about it, and I've plumb lost it. I'll pull that up here in just a moment.
Field is working their way off of turn 16 out of the Le Mans corners down the Ullman straight here. They come down this beautiful long straightaway, going to hit turn 17, and the pace car is going to go off of the racing surface, and we are going to go racing.
I'm going to apologize in advance because I know that our producer is big on me calling this place Sebring. So if I don't call it Sebring, we'll turn it into a drinking game maybe.
There we go.
Mm.
Yes, indeed. Just looks like I just found it in the scrolled right past it again real quick here.
All right, here comes the roof pace car off of the racing surface. 52 SCR read, no 6 time dryling on the front row here. And green is out. We are underway here for the 2 hours of Sebring.
Sebring. We are having fun with that.
Tom dryling
Subliminal advertising, huh?
Yeah, dryling out to a pretty decent sized lead here as the 52 under fire from the 34, the Audi of Chris Beck. But dryling out to a good lead heading into turn 2.
Yeah, I think a lot of these cars are just going to tiptoe through that first 17 corners, kind of find their way into a line and see what kind of a run they can get.
Yeah, right now, all you're thinking right now as a GT3 is stay on the track, stay on the track, stay on the track, stay on the track. It's Tim Branson's learning that lesson here real quick. He's fallen way back behind everybody.
Yeah,
And Eugene Wilkinson as well.
A little bit of a teammate battling right there. 52 just got passed by his teammate Ernie Ludwig. They should be Club Canada drivers with some Mountain, I think it's Mountain West. I keep wanting to say Mountain Dew, Mountain Lightning back here. The Viking cars, 34, Chris Beck. Sitting back here in P4 as they head towards the tower turn. Sharp right-hander going to set themselves up for the very fast and very technical Bishop curves into the Le Mans curves.
It looks like Dryling's got a quite sizable lead and just running away so far with Reed on his tail by a good 2 seconds or so.
Yeah, roundabout time. Dryling definitely has the car to beat so far early in the goings. Heading down the Ullman Straight, going towards turn 17 in the Sunset Bend. Looks like he is going to navigate through the bumps here. Very, very bumpy turn there in Sunset. Heading down the front stretch and is going to lead the first lap. Past all the GT1s and HPDs sitting on the grid right there.
Yeah, and pretty much as expected, these guys have filed out to single file, save the racing for later, and just see make sure they can get whatever distance they can on those GT1s and HPDs when they come out.
And looking back here, 59 of Mark Redeker just got passed from the, I believe that's the 45. No, that's the 09 and Laurent. Yeah, Robert Laurent in front of him. These numbers are not as big as the NASCAR numbers, so they're kind of hard to see on the sides of these cars.
It takes a lot of zooming effort to get there.
That indeed. Already have a car on pit road, the 199 of Chris Branson, bringing it in for service really, really early. Now these
Looks like that car has lost his hood, so he must have crashed.
These GT3s, I know from experience from running the 12-hour last weekend here with a couple of buddies. I know that we could pretty much run an hour on a tank of fuel, so that only means that the GT3 should only have one pit stop this whole race.
I think one, maybe a splash and go, depending on the driving style and fuel maps. But hopefully it's just a one-stopper for these guys.
And it looks like some of the admins are looking at the 43 car of Paul Geringer, who's sitting in the pits. They're just making sure he didn't get that extra lap, but if he left the pits or not, and what kind of penalty they have to or possibly give to him.
So, Dono, when's the GT1s coming out?
GT1s come out at the 4-minute 30-second mark.
Right.
Which is going to put them right behind the GT3s because they're turning lap times of about 2 minutes 10 seconds. So you got to figure 4 minutes 20 seconds.
Well, they should.
And there they are.
Yeah, GT1 should be rolling off here. Looking at the no, they're not rolling yet. You said 4 minutes in, correct?
From what? 4 minutes 30 seconds. So they're saying 10 seconds now to the GT.
Okay, here we go.
GT1s roll out.
And there goes all the GT3s
right
by.
in front of them.
Here we go. GT1s.
And there they go. Now, this is the fun part because these guys are going to be quite a bit faster than the GT3s, but they're going to try to get around them. And they're racing these guys for position. So traditionally, when you watch these guys on the racetrack in the real world racing here, you're going to see some of the GT3 guys kind of gently moving out of the way to give the preferred line away. Here, they're not supposed to do that. They are racing for position that whole time.
Yeah, right now.
It looks like the first of the GT3 cars is your number 127 of Bruce Nelson, right up at the back end of the GT3 cars.
Yeah, rolling up 99. Aaron Stowe has taken that spot, heading into hairpin right now. Yeah,
Looks
number
like
99 is the leader of the GT1s right now, and Aaron Stowe. Making our way through Cunningham and Collier.
And it looks like Seth Albert's going to call it a day. The number 18 car just wanted to get his start for points and hanging up the helmet.
Yeah, and they also have an Ironman award for making for starting every race of the year, so a little bonus for that as well.
Ooh, little wide from that Aston, excuse me. I always put the H in there for that 99. Getting ready to catch up to the back end of the GT3 field. Aaron Stowe is going to set his sights on Ray Forner and that Mercedes. Heading into sunset. Ooh, locking him up for the 99.
Yeah, these cars really lock up brakes, especially on these big breakpoint sections here.
Well, I've never driven a GT1. Do these things have ABS and traction control and all that? That's good then.
No, that's why I test drive some of my teammates run GT1s, and I can't do that. They lock up and they slide way too easily.
Yeah, I turned some laps with the Corvette earlier this week just to see what the difference is with the new tire model and the updates. They're not bad to drive, to be honest with you. They're not as skatey as they once were, where you need a lap or two to work the tires in. But you're either fast or you're not in that car.
I fall into the second category.
Is there an option C?
I'm faster in a GT3 than a GT1. Take my Beamer any day.
All right. Looking through, I mean, everybody's pretty much single file. I'm riding aboard with the 96 of Jared Morgan. He's running an Audi, trying to navigate his way around a couple of Mercedes in front of him. I believe that's the 8 of Gary Nichols and the 15 of Eddie in front of him.
Yeah, right now it looks like P4, 5, and 6 are running really close together. Had a couple of looks from Eddie Boussier, but nothing came of that, and they're just tucking nose to tail.
It's pretty smart to do this early off in the running. We haven't even gotten through 10 minutes yet. When do the HPDs
here
get
shortly.
released?
Great question. Looks like at 8 minutes, 30 seconds, so they should be coming out here in just a few seconds.
Awesome.
Now, the one thing we do know, though, is that the GT3s will have to pit. We're not sure on the HPDs whether they'll have to pit twice or not. I know last year we had a situation where it came down to fuel mileage that won it.
Right, and this year so far, the Predator formats have favored the GT3s, especially in that pit stop strategy.
There they go.
So, right, and GT1s are passing by while the HPDs come out. So right now we've got basically GT3, GT1, HPDs all in a line.
Yeah, there's the leader of the GT1s,
Get
right
in
around
there.
the 944 of Brett Trosten. Oh, man.
Oh, through the tricky parts here.
Now, I'm wondering if there's team paints going on with Drew Lalonde and one of the other cars. I noticed the Batmobile has made an appearance here at Sebring.
It's okay, you're Canadian. You can see whatever that is. Yeah, these connections
contact
here.
behind the 944. That's between Robert Laronde and the 99, the leader in the GT1s.
Yeah, and that's what I was saying earlier. It's very difficult for these bigger, faster cars to get around these smaller less agile, less speedy cars. So there's a lot of that's about to happen.
And on top of that, the HPDs, this is their first lap out. Tires haven't come up to temperature. Some of these drivers aren't accustomed to driving in amongst that many slower cars.
Yeah, those HPDs have got to be just hating life right now.
I know the right front tire that 99 is hating life as well. Aaron Stowe has been smoking him through the tower turn pretty much every lap. Still trying to navigate around some of this lap. Well, he's technically lap traffic, but I believe that's a 46 or 45 Scott Wanbaugh. He's getting around, heading through the Le Mans corners. Ooh, almost a dive bomb.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I'm watching what's going on right now with Michael Lane poking his way through traffic here. He's coming up into a set of other cars. He's also blinking a little bit, so see how interesting that gets for him passing through there.
He is racing in class right now with that 135 of Christopher Sherburne.
I love watching these guys right now as they're coming down that Ullman straight and how they're spreading out and trying to make what passes they can do, and to hit the big sunset bend and hit down that shorter front stretch.
All right, now,
nail them all down.
Yeah, right now, 43 of Paul Geringer is your leader in the HPD. He's got I believe that's a 52 in front of him. That'll be, CR Reed up in third. He's almost made his way through the GT3 traffic.
And he's right now 4 laps down from the leader, so he's got about an hour and 49 minutes to make up those 4 laps.
And Tom Dreiling is really off the pace. He had pulled away for about a good 4-second lead last time we saw him, but the 26 Ernie Ludwig has turned up the intensity and caught up to the 06. Here comes the HPD.
They got HPD traffic already starting to pass our leader.
I think he got a lead and he's just saving his stuff. Use only what you have to.
Ooh, HPD second place.
HPD around.
Ernie Ludwig.
Get it? Yeah.
They collected all, but there's definitely some damage.
Yeah, 944. Brett Trosen still sitting on the track. That was bad. Very bad. He was running second in the HPDs, and he ran into the second place of the GT3s.
Yeah, that's all part of the Predator format. You're trying to get up through those cars as fast as you can because you've got a number of laps to make up. You take some chances and hope they work out sometimes.
And that's what makes Predator format racing right there fantastic, because you gotta pay attention of who's fast, who's slow, and how are you gonna pick that maneuver off. That's fun.
Yeah, you find with especially the HPD drivers, they've got to time their passes. When they see a car ahead, and they might let off a little bit or pick up some extra space, so they can make the pass where they want to make it rather than the middle of a corner. I mean, Sunset Bend is just. I'm sure all of us have run the 12 hours of Sebring that iRacing put on, and that one corner has got to be the scariest corner to go through.
I will say with the HPDs and slowing down, when they're slowing down, pick up on, especially on the Ullman straight, they can get so much draft off of these slower GT3s, and they can whoop around and slingshot them pretty well. But you got to time it, you got to communicate with each other as well.
And got the leader of the GT1s right now, Aaron Stowe, under fire from the 57 Mark Herzog, doing pretty much pretty close. 944 Brett Trosen, who was involved in that accident over in the tower turn, is on pit lane right now. Probably going to try to get some of that front clip damage replaced. But this 99 is almost caught up to the overall leader. The leader's heading into Cunningham, and now 99's in Cunningham, rolling out of Collier, heading towards the tower turn in turn 13.
And for those of you that are following on YouTube and you're seeing the ticker come across there, the car type is listed in there. So the HPDs are the cars that came out, at the 10-minute mark. The Corvette CR6s are the GT1 classes, and everything else is your GT3s.
CR Reed under fire from Aaron Stone at 99. 99 is going to take that right side down to Ullman straight, heading off into Sunset. I'm going to say about half a lap, and he's going to be able to get one of his laps back at least. locking them up.
Yeah, some of these GT3 guys, I think the experienced ones aren't going to overdrive their cars, but you're going to get those people that just there's a car behind, I got to turn it up, and that's where you're gonna see a lot of these
A
problems.
lot of overdrive going to come from the lesser experienced GT3 drivers.
All right, and here we are, overall leader and the 99 heading off into turn number 2. Really technical part of the course.
And Drayling's an experienced driver, so I expect him to just kind of move over a little bit. Maybe not make it easy for them to pass by, but certainly make it so it's to his advantage.
Okay, you got to be a good sportsman about it.
Oh, look
and
at
a pass
Herzog
for the
with dive
lead.
bomb.
Yeah, get in there, Herzog. That was impressive.
Wow.
A little bit of a gutsy move there, and HPD just watching right behind him, trying to make his move too.
Yeah, Herzog, that almost did not work for him.
No, that's a gamble this early in the race.
And D. Palmer right now, number 23, behind the overall leader in the Batmobile. Gonna try and get around, get a lap back.
Yeah, you can already see Dreiling leaving room for if he's going to make that dive bomb move and get by.
Very smart from the leader. Very, very smart. Meanwhile, looking back here again at the 96-13. Having a pretty tight battle here with a bunch of traffic. 96 does have a little bit of front end damage. Must have ran into the back of somebody. But they were pretty close hitting the stripe last time, and I don't know. I've been watching him for a couple of laps. Looks like the 96 is a little bit faster through the technical parts, but that 13 of AJ Clark has a little bit more top end on him, even though they are running the same make and model of car pretty much. In these 3 positions, got a Mercedes right behind them.
Well, even though they're running the same car, they might have different gearing setups or different options for setup, and they set these cars to their own preferences. They might want to set it up to be faster at certain parts of the track that they can handle it.
Yeah, that's definitely a preference. And with an open setup race like this, if you want to be fast on the stretches to make maneuvers, if you want to be faster in the tight parts, it's definitely a preference setup.
And friend of OCTV, Kip Leo, coming up in that 9 HPD up onto this battle with the 96 and the 13 side by side, heading through turn number.
Oh, there is a horde of
2.
a mess. Yeah, Kip Leo, that's just amazing. Of course, that Hungry Dragon sauce, green and yellow, running through.
That's got to be awfully frustrating, though, to be stuck in the middle of all those cars. You know you're faster than, but they're running too wide ahead of you, and Sebring is not a wide track.
No, there's no good place to pass. Except for right here, he's got a little opportunity to get on that throttle and hopefully make some passes. Oh,
nope,
he uses the rumble strip, gets by them. He's through, and there's a couple of the Corvettes behind him that are trying to make their passes as well.
Oh, I'm irritated for them. Bless their hearts for doing this race for us. Yeah, looking at Jared Morgan as he's bringing himself up through the field.
And Morgan currently running 7th on track. Right behind. He's off.
Oh, there's commentator squares happening.
He's sideways. Does he stay clean?
He does and gets off the track.
Smartly gets off the track and off the line.
Unmorgan-like. So there he
That
goes.
was nice.
Yeah, good job.
GG.
If he could just do that in the in the Northwest Truck League, he'd be all right.
I think he hit.
I mean, he got some damage out of it, but the way he just pulled off the track, turned around, just got going again, that was good heads-up maneuvering.
Yeah, got out of the way, got it back underneath him, and took off.
Yeah, and those of you that do watch us on Thursday nights or Friday mornings, wherever you are in the country or in the world, a lot of these names will seem familiar to you because a lot of these guys run in the Northwest Truck Series that we do commentate for on iRacing.com/live and on the YouTube. So we're going to be pulling on those names a little bit more than the rest of them, but
saying that, I'm a little disappointed at Jared Morgan not having DQ sponsorship on his Audi there.
I've tried painting road cars. It is not fun. I can understand.
And Morgan does all of his own paints.
And on board right now, or following the 46 of Chad Yoshitomi. He's pretty much the lone HPD still that hasn't got his lap back from
And
the
he is
leader.
having a hard time staying under that, keeping that car under him.
Yeah, he is. He was pretty squarely there. Making his way through the tower turn now. He's got, yeah, Tom Dreiling is in front of him. Dreiling's making his way to the Le Mans curves. As 46 is just now doing it.
They all seem so polite on the radios right now. I wonder if that's
Right?
going to change as the laps wind down.
A nice, comfortable spotter communication happening between drivers as they're making passes.
On board with Jeremy Morrison and that Aston Martin, number 75.
Team Canada doing well tonight, well represented.
And he's about to pass one of his Canadian teammates here, heading off into the sunset turn in Eddie Bussieri, who's got
Yeah, but
AJ Clark right behind him.
It's all fair in love and war. So even though they're teammates, it's still a race. So he's not going to just walk away and let him have the spot.
Highlight the 743 right now. Mark Lawsing sitting in 8th right now. Just over 27 seconds behind the leader. Looking pretty good in that old Martini tribute paint.
Yeah, but I've noticed when he goes into the course, he just kind of throws it into the corner. I wonder if that's going to hurt tire wear later in the run.
Well, he is about to be under fire from the 09 of Robert Laronde. Back here as they're working through the big bend, heading towards the hairpin in turn 7.
And Robert Laurent, another of the Team Canadas. Pacific Majors expanded their acceptance of a couple extra clubs this year. Team Canada has shown up very nicely and has done fantastic in the first 3 races. So excited to see what they can continue to bring, as well as the Plains members and a few of the other guys.
Yeah, been a good competition for the Northwest, because generally the Northwest dominates the Pac Majors, and Canada has definitely brought their A game. So,
But
What you talking about?
that's right. Cafe here is our resident Canadian.
Going back to another buddy of the channel, we got the 089 of John Ottenbacher. Back here in HPD, 3-way HPD battle. His just happens to be red.
That is a good looking ride. Usually he runs his teammates, or the black cuddle theme, but he's got a great looking red and what would you call that? Tan?
Red
Flame
and
job?
tan flames.
Yeah, that's good looking.
Kind of reminds you of a hot rod from the 60s.
Oh, that's pretty nice, I must say. And generally on these kinds of endurance races, you'll see GT3s, GT1s, and the a prototype. Anybody know the reasoning why we don't have the prototype in here? Is it just because the HPD isn't really driven all that much, or?
HPD seems to be more favored between that and the prototype.
Okay.
At least for demand from the club. HPD has been more of a voted on machine. Whoa, and I'm looking at Bruce Snelson in the 127. He's coming to fire from a couple of HPDs, and he's trying to keep his car underneath him, and he's sliding all over the place.
Yeah, and Snelson has worked his way up to the 19th position.
As soon as Lalonde here just got a sniff on his rear end, all of a sudden, all hell broke loose underneath that 7 car.
Yeah, it looks like the 81 of Garrett Hulsley has taken the GT1 lead right now. Or it might have just been how he came across the line, because Herzog is about half a track behind him right now. 81 is got a little bit of cosmetic damage, and he's
Yeah,
definitely he's throwing her in there too.
yeah, his wings all beat up, and from the looks of it, the passenger side of that car's got a few dents in it.
Not sure how
Almost like he
scoring.
got rear-ended.
I'm not sure how scoring is handling that. The other car that's just one lap down is 84 of Tim Branson, and he is laying over like a dead dog. He's just letting everybody by, which could pay out for him in the end.
I like your verbal picture there, man.
Hey, that's the inner Clint Boyer. That dude's nuttier than squirrel shit.
I was a big Boyer fan when he started up.
Yeah, I'm with Dreiling right now, just following in behind one of the GT1 cars. He seems to be just running his own race. I mean, it's one of those things that you're racing the track. It works out in the end over the long run. It's not a matter of, getting past once and losing 3 seconds. It's your entire race over 2 hours.
Well, he's got a good piece, because, I mean, earlier he pulled out to about a 4-second lead. Then he lost it. He must have had some trouble. Must have missed a turn or ran off somewhere or something. Now he's got another 5-second lead over the 26 in Ludwig. So he's got a good piece under him. He just he needs to keep that thing clean.
Yeah, and we're about halfway through the GT3's run here. I mean, we're expecting them to pit somewhere about the 1 hour to go mark.
And here comes Kip Leo behind the 06, trying to get his lap back, or one of his laps back. It looks like he must have had to come back down and take a pit sometime.
Well, I think he's the only one to not get his first lap back, and that'll put everyone back onto better than what they started.
Yeah.
Well, that'll put Kip 4 laps down, where all the other HPDs are 3 laps down, and so yeah, somehow he got an additional lap down.
And besides him, that's going to put him on the same lap as the 85 of Scott Kukas up here in a hand-painted camouflage ride.
Yeah, Kukas one we haven't looked at yet today. And I would love to look at him, but I don't see him on the track. I keep clicking on his name, and there's nothing there. All right.
Looking back with I think Drew Lalonde and Dee Palmer have the exact same paint scheme on.
Are we iRacing Live?
Yep. Maybe there's a year difference in the Batmobile. I don't know.
Maybe.
Definitely points out to their teammates.
Is one with the drawn-on eyebrows, or is one with?
Or you know what? It could be a team thing where they paint them up identical, and it makes all the other drivers wonder what's going on.
Dog bear.
We here at OCTV do love our Dog Bear team from the Northwest Truck Series, from the Wednesday Night Series, from Pacific Majors. They're a great group of guys who we enjoy watching race.
Another car I want to point out, I mean, I love the paint on it, although I'm not a big fan of the sponsor, is the 43 car of Paul Geringer. Love the look of that black and green.
So have you guys had a lot of races with the new tire package?
I don't remember half of them.
Oh.
Well, we ran the new tire at Sebring when we did the 12 hours, and then there was an additional update. Now, where it comes into play for these guys, iRacing had a patch update that affected times halfway through the week.
Right.
Yeah, another BOP balance coming out, especially for the GT3s. I'm not sure how it affected GT1s at HPD, but no, the GT3s got really affected.
I was really surprised at just how much the temperature affects the tires now, the track temp. It's a lot more sensitive to that now.
Yeah,
So
for the first time I've ever heard while I've been on the service is the word cured, which is the process of heating up a tire and letting it cool off, and it hardens the tire a little bit. And someone had mentioned that the tire's cure now.
Huh. That's interesting. Well, we are just about to the 1/4 mark of the race. Tom Dreiling is your leader right now. Ernie Ludwig. Behind him is Gary Nichols in third. C.R. Reed and Chris Beck, your top 5, rolling into the next 30 minutes.
Yeah, and after 30 minutes, our leader, Tom Dreiling, has completed 15 laps. So we're going to expect that this race goes 60 laps.
yeah, should be right around in there.
Now, Aaron Stowe's, or Mark Herzog, excuse me. Or maybe Tim Branson, because Branson is still out in front of these guys. Branson is actually a GT3. Never mind. Hulsley, that's the one I was looking for. He's in a vet, and he's still just a lap down, so I don't know how he got around Herzog and Stowe unless we just completely missed that 81 machine completely off the start. But he is back here in the tower turn. Tom Dreiling is rolling through Sunset, so he's less than half the track behind our leader, and he's just sitting a lap down.
Well, to be fair, the GT1 cars are only about 3 seconds, if that, faster than the GT3s. So I'm not too surprised by that number.
Well, 3 seconds, you got to make up 2 minutes, and just might as well say 7 seconds for an average GT3 lap. You're looking about 24, 25 laps to make that difference up.
And right there, you're at 50 laps to catch back up to the leader.
And then take off the time for your pit stop. It's in the ballpark.
Yeah,
that's pretty close.
yeah, it's especially with this Predator format, they get it pretty close. Daytona kind of fell a little short. I don't know if that was just an extra pit stop for the HPDs, but it did just fall a little short. Forgot who it was, but yeah, the Predator format pretty much works out. I was not a huge fan of it when we first started covering these races, but it's been growing on me.
Well,
Yeah,
I mean the series has to adapt, right? And when we first came on board with this, that gap that was set was the same for both the pro split and the sportsman
Oh,
split.
81
And
loses it in the
there we go.
hairpin. He's got it
And-
collected.
And now Mike looks at Mike Ouellette, the series director, looks at both splits and sets the Predator format times according to the times in that grid.
Yeah, so this season that's been a much better setup because of that split of pros versus the sportsmen's. And the overall balancing, there's a disproportionate number of GT3s that have ran only because a lot of people realize Sebring is such a small, tight track. Trying to come from the back at HPDs have a huge mountain to climb to get up to win this race.
Who is the lead?
I'm looking at D.
HPD?
Palmer weaving his way through traffic right now. That number 23 Batmobile is just any spot he can get by a car, he is taking the chance and going for it.
Oh, yeah, he's getting ready to pass the GT1 leader in the 81 right there. So Palmer trying to catch up. Dreiling is working his way through turns 3, 4, and 5. Getting ready to hit the big bend. There's still a lot of time for these guys to make up.
Now, is it just me, or has anyone else noticed that the HPDs don't have a preferred line through Sunset Bend there? I mean, I see some that hug the wall and some that go middle of the track.
I think it's more driver preference.
Definitely, I'm thinking driver preference and desperation to get around cars. You take what you can get. So I've watched them do some last minute bob and weave to get north or south of another GT3 or GT1.
It's almost like the HPDs are like people at the airport that are trying to catch a plane at the last minute, and they're just like jumping over people and dodging around people and trying to get over things.
I believe 43 is still your leader in HPD. He's in sight for catching the 06 of Dreiling right now. He's just now heading into the first bend to set himself up for the Le Mans curves here, and Dreiling is now coming up to the Allman.
Yeah, and what's going to really work for Geringer is the fact that there is open track until he gets there. So whatever time he can make up, push the car and make up whatever ground you can, and that'll pay off later in the race.
I'm gonna get lap times here from these two because Dreiling's definitely he's got a bad hot rod underneath him. His last lap was a 2:03.894 at the stripe. We're looking at,
and Geringer's last lap was a 1:52.3. Or no, yeah, 1:52.8. Sorry.
And Herzog looks like I think he's the leader of the GT1s. He did a 1:56.8.
And Ludwig has decided to throw a little bit of the extra padding out of his car. He's getting, he's starting to pick up some space here. Yeah.
Yeah, he's got 2.3 seconds to catch.
I think my connection is bad because everybody's flashing in and out.
He's picking up maybe a half a second a lap.
Roundabout.
Oh wow, he made up a lot of ground in that corner. He's now under 2 seconds.
Because I'm going to power cycle everything real quick.
Maybe he's got that car set up so that when it gets lighter on fuel, it becomes a pleasure to drive.
I wish I had a joke for that one. Anyways,
either that or he's just decided he's gonna fight the car and get it up there.
Yeah, here comes Geringer.
Yeah, and then the technical section of that track, Ludwig starts to fall back again. So some of it, I guess, is just difference in setups.
Yeah, it's definitely got to be that. We're rolling through turns 14, heading into turn 15. Setting up for the Le Mans corner. Geringer playing nice. He's going to be able to get him, though, here. Get that big draft and send her on down the Ullman.
Yeah, and it won't be too long before we actually notice the rubber buildup on the track. And I know, Wes, you ran the Sebring, and I ran it too. Once that rubber buildup comes up, the driving line changes, the way you handle your car changes.
Well, see, I started out, so I didn't really get to get all of the effects of that. You can definitely see the track starting to darken up where the preferred line is, especially in these high-speed turns, as turn 1 is. But we're looking at, 38 minutes in, and the HPDs have already made up 2 laps on the leader. So they're going to be pretty close, too.
Yeah. And if I remember right, the HPDs might need 2 pit stops, so don't be too alarmed at how fast they're catching up.
Yeah, 81, Garrett Holsey, excuse me. I'm dyslexic for a second. He lost it coming out of Le Mans, and he smacked the front of that car pretty bad. I believe Herzog has gotten around him.
Well, they only need cars straight for driver introductions and first bit of TV time.
Yeah, that 81 is definitely going through a world of hurt. He's been passed by Aaron Stowe and Bruce Snelson. Snelson, I believe, is the first Corvette in the GT1 class. I believe Herzog is running the Aston Martin.
Yeah, I'm thinking maybe that damage is starting to hurt the motor and it's turning its ugly head at this point.
Yeah, well, if you saw how he hit the tire barrier, the motor been crying. Under fire from HPD. HPD going to back off a little bit. Who is that behind him? It is Chad Yoshitomi, sitting in 30th right now.
Yeah, and Yoshitomi's HPD there is a sharp-looking machine there.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if that's factored
Ooh.
into a real world car or not, but I like the look of it.
Don't know what that was, but Mark Rediker, major front end damage to that 59. He was running in 12th. I think I look back and see what happened. Oh, he got dumped by HPD. It looks like was that Palmer? No, Lalonde and Drew Lalonde got him coming out of the hairpin.
Yeah, and the discussion going on in the track right now is the reminder that these cars do not have to let the faster ones by. You guys are in a race with each other.
And it looks like he's gathered himself back up. That is Rediker heading back down to Ullman. That was a big contact there from Lalonde.
Yeah, and they all get a fast repair, but I'm sure that they're not going to want to use it up until that first expected pit stop. Rediker headed to the pits.
Yeah, he probably had to. He hit really hard with the outside retaining wall. He might have gotten a meatball. Or a black flag with a red spot in the middle of it, in case you do not understand iRacing lingo.
Yeah, and it appears that he's popular with Hans and Franz with that no pain, no gain sponsorship on his door there. And first of the fast repair is used up. Rediker just waiting on, I guess, tires and fuel. He may as well while he's there. These cars with the pit stops, it's all block paint style, where it's fuel or tires, but not both at the same time, as in with your traditional IndyCar or NASCAR setup.
They do that for the safety of people on pit road, and they also change one tire at a time too. But it's really going to hurt Rediker. He's still on pit lane as the leader is past him right now. It's really going to hurt him because he's going to have to make another pit stop with about 10 to 15 minutes to go in the race.
Yeah, we're probably a good 15 minutes until the GT3s actually make their first planned stops.
Leader.
I'm watching Jared Morgan right now, the 96. He's got a car just ahead of him that they're having a conversation back and forth, and they seem to be swapping positions a couple times a lap by the looks of it.
As battle for ninth, Scott Wanbaugh in front of him in that 45 Mercedes. Jared Morgan, of course, 96 and Audi. Both of those in the GT3
I
class.
just noticed one of the Batmobiles off in the grass there.
It might have been D. Palmer.
I'm thinking so too.
He just got around our leader. That would be Drew Lalonde, and he is taking a tow.
Yeah, no front end on that car at all.
A tow to the garage. And
he's got wheel damage.
Yeah, that's gonna hurt the Batman. He won't be able to save Gotham in that car.
Yeah, and unfortunately that car does not convert to a motorcycle once the body comes off of it.
Ooh, wouldn't that be awesome? Oh, he's gone. He's gonna hang up the virtual helmet. Nope, he's back.
Yeah, I find maybe it's something that I've gotten into the habit of myself. When I go to change cars, I back out of it and then get back in.
Yeah, that was definitely nasty. Got a big... Oh, leader is pitting. Tom Dreiling on pit road. He's bringing it down to where he has to come down at least one more time.
Leader pit road.
I'm going to come and find his pit stall here. 06. In for service. Okay. Surrendering the lead over to the 26 of Ernie Ludwig.
So with 44 minutes run, he makes that pit stop there. That means he's going to have to go for a splash at the end. This could be exciting at the end.
No, I believe he's going to come down with 30 minutes to go. and run it from there. Try to have at least a little bit of fresh tire for the end run. Now, his competitors, though, might not be thinking the same thing because 52, the 8, the 743, the 34, the 09, the 13, they're all still out on track racing right now.
Yeah, I mean, there's a number of possibilities you can work out, and I guess it varies from team to team. I mean, you could go for 2 full stops and a splash. You could even out the 3 stops to keep your fuel at a certain level of whatever you want. We'll find out at the end how it all plays out. I mean, the advantage to him coming in by himself, he's not going to be stacked up with the other drivers trying to pit at the same time.
Well, now I'm thinking maybe why he was so fast because he had a lighter fuel load on board, and he purposely did this way. So if he's running 45, he runs another 45. They're still going to leave him 30 at the end. So he pretty much breaks down his stints rather appropriately.
Well, that would make it 3 even stints of 45 minutes or somewhere around there.
Roundabout.
Right, because you got to factor in the pace lap and a few other little things. Maybe that one extra lap that at the end of 2 hours that race control might put in there. You run your laps too fast, and we saw this last year with the race where the leader had to back off a little bit to make sure that there wasn't that other extra lap so an HPD could catch up.
Mark Herzog back here to GT1 heading off into Sunset. He's rolling up on a little bit more of some lap traffic here. He's about to make a pass for position on the 07 of Ray Forner. Forner going to get out the way. Herzog going to take over that 13th position. Now he just needs to catch back up to the leader. And Ludwig is over here getting ready to go into the hairpin. So he's still about a quarter or more than a quarter of the track behind our leader. And so it has to come around again. Oh, 09, Robert Laurent off track, heading into Big Bend. This is right in front of that battle that we were looking at with Herzog. He's either hurt or he fell asleep a little bit or something. Because he was just really, really off. He was battling there with, I believe, the 13 of AJ Clark in the Audi, yes. And slow HPD in front of these guys as well. I'm looking on board with the 13. Looks like the HPD is getting it and got it, and he's good right now. Ottenbacher is that HPD in front of him. Looking back through.
Well, sometimes you see a car that, you know, you've been driving it too hard, you just take a step back and maybe back off for half a lap, cool down the tires, get your senses, and then go back to it. That could be all it is.
And highlight somebody we haven't really talked all that much about right now. The 135, Christopher Sherburne. I believe he is sitting P5 in the GT1 category right now. Having a pretty solid race. Car looks to be halfway clean, besides all the rubber buildup on the front end. So, gone broke racing on that machine for Sherburne. He's got an HPD in front of him and a GT3 in front of that HPD. No, actually, that's a GT1. That's the vet of the 81, I believe. In Holsley, that will be a battle for position. If Holsley, Kip Leo, that was close.
Yeah, and I've seen Kip Leo get close to a number of cars as he's been going around. I mean, it's not. Some people can adjust to that speed difference. Some can't. Some have a great awareness of the cars around them. And others, you just got to figure may cut in front of you. I mean, I haven't checked. Wow, that was a sweet pass.
That 81.
Take him when you can get him.
He's turning into a weapon out here. He's throwing that thing in there. A little bit too hard.
Almost back. Internet crash out here.
You gotta wonder how many of these drivers actually have live spotters rather than just the spotter pack.
None of them. Unless they're spectating like us.
Well, yeah, if they're spectating, they got someone on TeamSpeak. But I mean, we'd normally see it in an official race where somebody has a friend and you can see in the list that they've got a spotter. Some of these guys are using Discord or TeamSpeak or some other method, and we're just not aware of it. And that proves to be an advantage in stuff like this, where you can be told that, hey, there's an HPD that's 8 seconds back. He's going to catch you at whatever. Someone watching for pit stops, things like that.
Getting close to the beginning of GT3 pit stops. Right now, Ernie Ludwig at the line last time was 6.5 seconds in front of CR Reed in the 52. Gary Nichols still in third at Mark Lossing and Chris Beck, your top 5 running right now. Aaron Stowe, that 99 GT1, the leader in GT1, excuse me, he's getting pretty close to getting his lap back before pit stops.
And from what I saw from Dryling stop, total time from when he crossed those yellow cones to came out to the green was a minute 19. So that's what I'm kind of expecting these drivers to work out. You know, that's how much time they're going to give up to the GT1s and the HPDs every time they get a stop.
Yeah, he's still on the lead lap though. That would be Dryling back there.
Yeah, and we didn't take into consideration your theory that he might have started with a little lighter fuel load. So we'll see how it works out. I mean, there's about 8 minutes until I would expect that they start pitting.
I want to say that we could run either 28 or 29 laps on a tank of fuel in the Audi at least. I'm not sure if the Mercedes has a little bit different fuel window. It's possible.
Well, the Mercedes for me during Sebring, it said 34 laps, but I didn't trust that number. I would have figured about 32 max.
I think if one of these GT3s have put a different fuel map on, staved a little bit, not gone as hard as these leaders have, and can make it about 5 minutes into the next hour, I would think if he saved just a little bit, he would be able to make it in one stop.
Yeah, it could be 6 of one, half dozen the other though, Wes, because if you're giving up a minute and a half because of your fuel map and the saving stuff, that's a full stop that you could have made.
69 of Matt Gelder just took her for a loop.
Ooh.
And he's in traffic. Oh, watch out. Did not see that HPD coming.
Yeah, they're just broadcasting it as far as, ooh.
Right? Now you're just clicking around, you're bouncing around, you're watching to see who's doing what, when, where, and all of a sudden there's a car wrecking.
Hey, I heard plenty of them during the Fox broadcast today for the Phoenix race.
Yeah, there you go.
Actually, what would get me is if I'm in one of the GT3s and I've got an Aston Martin ahead of me, I'd be too scared that I would just blindly go into the corner too deep, just following a car.
He literally hit the wall in the sunset. If he didn't, he was really close. Couple cars on pit lane right now. Leaving right now is Eugene Wilkinson in at 80. 75, Jeremy Morrison is on pit road right now.
So the 135 Christopher Sherburne, you might want to put your camera on that. He is braking so late that the back end of that car is so light that it just gets out from under him.
That is definitely one way to get a car around a corner. Induce oversteer much?
You know it works.
Well, I mean, it's a case of he's able to overdrive that corner much faster than the cars ahead.
Right, and you got two GT3s right in front of him.
AJ Clark around in turn 15. That could have ended a lot worse. Jared Morgan with the evasion on that one.
Yeah, and the other car that was ahead of him got a little bit loose. They had to lock him up a little bit, and he just spun it out.
It's going to take AJ Clark back a couple spots. I believe he's going to fall from 6th to 9th in that exchange. But so far, all of the rest of the GT3s are still
And
out on the
GT3s
track.
are going to start making their pit stops any moment. I'm on board. I'm watching Keep Leo right now. You know, factoring out these cars, they're probably planning their pit stops and trying to find a good spot to pull in. And Kip is just looking for ways around these cars before they do so.
Looking back here, we do have a couple guys, multiple laps down. The 199, Chris Branson. Don't know what happened with him, but he's got a relatively clean car. He's sitting 33rd, 8 laps down in that Mercedes. Oh, we're looking, believe, D. Palmer. Oh, tough break. He's in the grass sitting outside of, I believe that is the Big Bend coming down.
His whole front end is being missing.
That's another Batmobile lost the front end. He
And
doesn't look too damaged other than that, though.
This must be a Marvel favored race.
yeah, right. Well, leader into pit road, 26, Ernie Ludwig on pit road right now. Going to surrender the lead over to C.R. Reed, getting passed by under pressure from John Ottenbacher in turns 3 and 4.
Ooh, at 57 minutes, that's cutting it close. Unless he's not right out of fuel, that's going to be almost an hour and 4 minutes he's got to run. Somebody in front of Palmer just spinning out, which is Scott Kukas.
Uh-oh. Can anybody see him?
Yeah, Scott's in the camo-colored car, just coming through the S's there.
Where? I don't see him. It's funny the first time. Shut up.
I don't believe you.
It doesn't look like he's got all that much damage to it. Of course, all I'm seeing is the back.
No, he didn't hit anything, but I think that when he saw Palmer off on the side, it kind of spooked him a little bit, and he got out in the grass or just tried to avoid him and got himself in trouble. He seems to be pretty good now, other than rocking those rumble strips there.
And Ludwig is down and away, getting ready to come off of the pit lane. Be looking for C.R. Reed here, your temporary leader. See if he comes down this time.
Now, Ludwig's time from on pit road was 1:32, which is about 13 seconds longer than dry lane.
So here we go. We're looking at him. He's running through Sunset right now. Doesn't look like he's going to come down this time. He's going to go one more at least.
Looks like our second place runner, Gary Nichols, is also opting not to pit this time through.
We got Bruce Nelson and Mark Herzog, the GT1 cars, down for service.
Looks
Yeah,
like Gary.
and we're hearing some of these calls now that they're starting to come in for the pit stops. It's cutting it really close because, as we saw last year, that the time that you cross that line, if there's enough time to do another lap, you won't get the white flag.
And here comes the 96 now.
And Jared Morgan to the pit lane. This is going to put him right under an hour if he goes with an average hit of 1 minute 20 seconds. As a lot of these
running
guys
an
were
hour
going,
plus a lap. I don't know if that can work out.
He almost missed his pit.
Yeah, the
And
cars that
HPD is
last
coming in now too.
The cars that last that full hour plus a little bit are going to have the advantage if they have to really run hard to keep ahead of those HPDs.
And GT1's in front of them that pitted Snelson and Herzog. They are off, down and away.
Yeah, I got Mark McFadden. He's running P24 and HPD. He's coming in. And the Matt Gelder, the 69 GT1, Austin, he is also coming in.
Yeah, I'm going to look totally crazy if this doesn't work out, but I'm saying I'm going to go on record as saying anyone pitting before this 1 hour mark is going to be at a serious disadvantage, I think.
Ooh, 75 just popped on the pit road. I believe Jeremy Morrison, he made a big ooh. Yeah, where is he? Huh. Well, I just went back through a lot of stuff there, and then he pops up with a blown motor. C.R. Reed still out and about in that 52. Gary Nichols is coming in, pitting that number 8 Mercedes. Mark Lossing in as well. That's second and third on the track.
I'm just keeping an eye on some of these pit times. The stops themselves, the GT3 cars are about 1:05 for the stop.
Chris Beck, 34, is down. Robert Laron behind him. And Garrett Hulsey in that 81 GT1. Also have AJ Clark in. Most of these guys coming through the turn here. It doesn't look like they're going to come in and stop. So that should just about surrender the lead back over to Tom Dreiling after C.R. Reed comes in. Now Reed's over there at the tower turn. He's going to have the best chance of going this in just the one stop. Pit road is definitely a busy place right now. Just under 1 hour to go. Gary Nichols is down and away. Should see Lossing getting ready to roll.
Yeah, and for as long as C.R. Reed has been out there on the racetrack, he is still doing a 2:02.68 on his last lap by. So he is training some very impressive lap times.
Should be seeing him coming to pit road here. He is going through Sunset pretty slow.
And yep, he is turning hard right into the pits.
Really slow, mind you. There he is.
Yeah, you can make or lose a lot of time with that pit stop by how fast you come up to those cones.
So that gives the Mercedes AMG GT3 of Scott Wamba in the number 45 into first place when he comes across the line. If has Scott already pitted? No, he has not.
Scott has not pitted, and the 15 of Eddie Boussier has not pitted. Those are the only two GT3s we're waiting on for a pit stop.
And here he goes. Yep, and he's coming in hot. Look at that. Whoa, down! There he goes.
The pit speed is his car number. It's 45. Because you can't drive 55 on here.
And it looks like Boussier is coming in as well.
Now, Aaron Stowe just got through turn number 1. He is still your leader in the GT1. Dreiling right now still scored in 4th. He should be first after this because all 4 of those.
Scored first on this lap, but you got to remember he made that early pit stop. He's probably going to have to do one more.
Yeah, you can pretty much guarantee the 06 is definitely going to have to come down one more time. This 52, 45, and 15, they'll be ones to watch to see if they can actually make it with pitting. They're only going to have, CR Reed's back out onto the track. Juan Boss still in pit. So is the 15. they're only going to have to run about 55 minutes on this this tank of fuel. And plus, I completely forgot to add in the parade lap too.
Right, there was the
So
parade lap. So those guys that lasted the hour, they're factoring in they can run flat out from here on in and maybe push that extra lap to force a fuel strategy out of the HPDs and the GT1s.
Yeah.
That
So I was going through some really quick calculations here on my Excel spreadsheet, and Dreiling, if he does need to splash and go, he's going to need to have at least a 45-second window to go down pit lane, even just to get that splash and maintain a lead.
Yeah, and he's got Ludwig like 9 seconds behind him. So this, unless he really opens up a gap, I don't know that it's going to work in his favor.
Yeah, because right now, splashing, just time on pit lane is equaling out to being about 25, 28 seconds per car. And those are the guys who are hitting it really well. So, plus downtime, plus acceleration time, you're going to need about 45 seconds total for a gallon splash and a takeoff.
I don't
But
think
Ray
it's going to come down to a
Fournier-
GT3 anymore. If this is correct, by the time Dreiling hits the line, we have GT1s that are on the lead lap. The 99, the 127, and the 57.
Yeah, but some of those GT1s have made pit stops already, so I've got to believe that they got to make one more.
Ooh, car way off. Ray Fournier, excuse me. The 07 way off in the hairpin as I was on board with the 99.
Is it seriously Foreigner? I've always called him Fournier.
That's what I say, but he say no.
Well, I don't care. Kidding there, man. I apologize.
I have to wait for the rest of these guys to hit the start-finish line once again, but I believe we've got a handful of GT1s on the lead lap. Now all they have to do is make it back around.
If this is reporting correctly, it looks like Aaron Stowe and Bruce Snedson at least are on the lead lap.
Herzog really close behind
Well,
him. And Michael
Aaron
Lane.
Stowe is the leader of the GT1s at the end of the previous lap, as far as I can see.
Correct,
Yes.
yeah. Then it also looks like Michael Lane he's on the lead lap as well. So that would be the three GT1s back on the lead. And to point this out, Paul Geringer is one lap down in an HPD. He's made up 4 laps already.
Yep.
He probably has 2 pit stops to go, though.
Mayhap, but John
He's
Ottbacher
only
has
pitted
not
once.
yet pitted.
Garrington
in
just
HPD.
pitted. Lap 29.
Yeah, correct. Geringer did pit once. Second place in HPD is John Ottenbacher. He has not pitted at all, and he is 2 laps down.
Well, he's
That's
just
weird.
pitting now.
Yeah, Ottenbacher's coming in right now.
Yeah,
But
so
Ottenbacher
that'll
is-
be the one to watch, I guess. It'll come down to once these guys, with about 20 minutes to go, we're going to find out who planned this out right.
Right, and third place behind Ottenbacher is Mark McFadden. Mark McFadden is coming into the big corner here. I can't remember the name now. And he's facing the start and finish line. He's about to take second from Ottenbacher.
Yeah, rolling out of Sunset.
That's it, Sunset. Yes, thank you. Sorry.
It was,
I'm
A big
looking at
scary
3.
corner. Then we would have figured it out faster.
I'm looking at 3 different windows all at once. Plus an Excel spreadsheet, people. Come on now.
Oh, man. Well, Tom Dreiling right now is your leader. 06-26. Ernie Ludwig is 9 seconds back. Ran a GT1 off of the track right there. Don't know what that was a boot. CR
And he's
Reed.
just kind of holding that spot there at a little 9 seconds. I mean, Ludwig lost some time there because of the off track, but I mean, Dreiling is just staying out of him comfortably.
Yeah, CR Reed in third, Gary Nichols in fourth, and Mark Walsing is your top 5 right now. So yeah, I think this is going to work out beautifully for Stowe and Snelson and Herzog. They're all 3 seconds separated Well, just hitting the line now. Snelson has gained a little bit on the 99 of Stowe, and Herzog lost about a second or two. That's going to be a really good battle. I believe they're going to catch him.
Well, I'm looking at McFadden and Kip Leo coming up on a GT3 car, and they are both battling for position and trying their darndest to get around the car. And they push him off the track. Get that driver his brown suit.
Right. He's going UPS right there.
And that was actually our fourth place driver in Garrett Nichols in the 8. That's not conducive to what he's trying to pull off here today. Got to believe that's Paulson right behind him, getting ready to get around him. Yep.
Well, they did make it very clear in the drivers' meeting that nobody is. You guys are all in a race together. You're not going to move over for the faster cars. So just drive your line and drive the race. We got another GT3 or a HPD off. It looks like.
Trying to look for a number.
Oh, it's an Audi of Tim Branson, the number 84. I came around that corner maybe a little too hot and spun it out.
He's missing the front end of that car.
Yeah, they ain't needed. It's a slow track, right?
Yeah. Whoa, yeah, he
I'm
done.
just wondering if he's used up his fast repair or not.
Aaron Stowe has got a top 10 going on already, and chasing down AJ Clark, who is not that far in front of him, just the end of the front stretch here.
He made up 6 seconds on the leader that last lap.
Right.
At that pace, he's definitely got it. He's going to get up there and get to pass him. Unfortunately, these HPDs, I don't think they're going to be so lucky. As Gehringer still has to come around the leader. And that's the 43 of Gehringer. He's back here in that Patron looking mamma jamma. And Dreiling is now coming out of Sunset while Gehringer is going into Hairpin, so he still needs a lap and a half. I don't believe it's a good day to beat HPD.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd go HPD.
Yeah, we only held them for 8.5 minutes here. In the pro split, they were held for 10 minutes. You can only imagine how fast those guys are.
Oh, they are.
Yeah.
And you got to remember that those drivers, their qualifying times were a whole lot faster. So you're dealing with times which are closer together, yet the gap that they close at isn't. It's going to be tougher to make those positions as you go along. And looks like up at the front they're Dreiling under pressure from Christopher Sherburne in the 135, the Aston Martin entry. I think if Dreiling is really going to get moving, he's got to boogie it and get up.
I'm not sure. Was that a bunch of dust coming out from the back of his car? Because I remember running our 12-hour. I mean, it literally looked like they were dumping pop rocks out the back of these cars.
Kind of like they were running the Kentucky Derby. You could see dirt flying from the back of them. I don't know.
Those tires literally had to have about 9 foot of freaking tread on them.
As the way that they chunk.
I mean, it was ridiculous. It's good to see that they have turned it down.
And after about 40 minutes, you couldn't see out of your windshield because of all the debris on the track that was getting on the windshield.
I can't believe I just read that. We have a spotter asking, how does he skip the required repairs and do the optional time?
You alt F4?
And that's coming from Garrett. possibly one of our absolute first time racer here with the Pacific Majors. So he's trying to adapt to the specific rules that come right into our league racing here.
Yeah, that's general iRacing stuff.
Yeah,
I mean,
but Donovan, I want you to think about this for a minute.
I'm not talking about
How do you
that.
skip required?
Not gonna even bring that part up.
and we're just giving him a hard time like we do everybody else. Nothing new. He might have just got the service.
You know what? No question is ever stupid because maybe somebody's figured out a way to get around it and he just isn't aware of it yet. But best of my knowledge, you can't escape required.
No.
And I was just checking it out here real quick. He is a rookie-rated driver, so he is practically brand new to iRacing. So, congratulations, even making the sportsman split. You know, they have 3 splits here with the Pacific Majors.
Mosley's at 81, ain't he? Yep. He was the one throwing it in there and hoping it would stick.
I'm sorry, I'm listening to the team speak or to the spotters here, and apparently the drivers are watching the broadcast while racing.
I think that's illegal in most states.
So let's go ahead and give a shout out to Tom Dreiling for leading the most amount of laps that are going to be ran today. So good job.
Well, and that's where my little comment about boogity came up because Jared had made the was it Jared or was it Tom that made the comment that I've been watching OCTV and we're an hour in and nobody's said it.
Hey, and for all of you out there in YouTube land, I don't believe for once in 2 years of being on this with you guys, we've ran a boogie ever.
That's big negative Ghost Rider.
All right, so let's looking through here. What do we got through the field? What do we got to put up there?
All right, we'll go. Let's try to cover the top 10 right quick. Do that. You got Tom Dreiling out front, leading the most laps right now. He's got an 8.6 second advantage over Ernie Ludwig. You got C.R. Reed in third, running a good, clean race. Gary Nichols in that 8. Just got pushed off a couple laps ago, but he seemed to recovered and putting down some good time. And you have Mark Lossing running out your top 5. .34, Chris Beck back here in 6th. Running pretty good in that Audi. You got Jared Morgan in 7th. Aaron Stowe, he's coming. He's first of the GT1 cars. Coming up, he's all the way up into the 8th position. Bruce Nelson up to 9th, right behind him. Oh, Aaron Stowe off. He's running the brakes off that thing.
That is a lot of people holler out about what things they want fixed on iRacing. I've told everybody, I've been a racer for 20 years. I want to see brake fade.
Yeah,
that is a huge part of racing, of understanding how much your brakes fade off every lap, and that would be a fantastic thing to throw into the service.
Yeah, and they've done a good job with the whole brake rotors glowing on these cars and whatnot, but I agree with you, Donovan, that they got to bring in the brake fade.
Yeah, dirt. I don't care about dirt. I want brake fade.
No, I want my dirt first, though.
Oh,
and Stowe gets sideways and collects it.
What in the world happened?
He is literally driving the wheels off. Look at him just smoke those tires every corner.
Good Lord.
He's giving a mid-race demonstration of how drifting works on this track.
Right? He's channeling his inner Vin Diesel.
It's better than channeling your inner Danica, right?
Oh,
better, yeah. Or inner Paul Walker, because then you wouldn't be racing.
Oh, too soon.
Too soon. Oh, that was funny.
He seemed to collect himself back up. Snelson is your leader in the GT1s right now. He's going to move up to, I believe, the 2nd position. Not second, 6th. After getting around Chris Beck there. Here comes the line of Aaron Stowe to get around for 7th. At the line. Boom! Nope. Yep. 8th.
Another one bites the dust.
We're rolling up on about 40 minutes to go. And it's just a
So
matter of
I would
time.
expect to start seeing the HPDs prepping for their second stop.
I don't know. Gehringer literally came in on lap 29. We're only on 36. And that was his first stop of the race. So I'm thinking they can almost make it to the end. It's just whether or not they can make up a track and a half. Because Paul Gehringer right now, he's working through Tower. Dreiling is coming down to Ullman into Sunset. Basically, one was in turn 13, one's in 17 right now.
Now I gotta ask, when they put together these HPDs in real life, the Hondas, what were they thinking building a passenger seat into it that they'd never used?
I've never understood that.
Well, I would guess it would be, in case you had to go to a track that required left-hand drive or right-hand drive or something like that.
I've just never seen it on the actual cars where they've swapped sides or anything like that. Just a question.
Something to anybody out there who's watching, go ahead and let us know, why is there a passenger seat in an HPD?
To hold all of his cookies.
It could be that maybe the rules say that it's got to be a 2-seat car or something like that. I don't know.
It might be for aero too, because you got to think let me go back to Gehringer right quick. I mean, if you only had one of those wings on the top of the car, or one of them scoops on the top of the car, you would think the car would push more to the left. I would think.
Yeah. Well, the 2 vertical fins would help with streamlining it, the air that goes over it. It was just something that I thought about when I was looking at the cars.
What seat is he in? He's on right-hand drive, so.
Yeah, and he's on the right, but I don't think I've ever seen it where they're on the left.
I don't know. He is bottoming that thing out. I saw a couple of sparks underneath that 43. Aaron Stowe, though, and Bruce Snelson, they are under a minute to our leaders.
Yeah, they've completed 38 laps. We all know that Dreiling is going to have to make one more pit stop. Just a matter of when. Stowe just about lost it coming through that corner onto the Omen Straight. And it looks like Snelson or Herzog gets around him. Just we're running through the field here, looking for some action for you guys to find. Jared Morgan getting different split on him, as I think Wanbaugh has made his last pit stop.
Hey guys, I'm searching through the Wikipedias and everything for the HPD ARX car that they run here in iRacing, and I can't find anything of why it has a 2-seater.
Yeah, the only thing I can think of is that, maybe at some point they're given the option of left or right hand side, but as far as I understand, I've never seen anyone on that other side. So right now I'm watching Ernie Ludwig, who's got Kip Leo with another car in tow. They're 6 seconds behind Dreiling. Christopher Sherburne that was up with that group was thinking of drafting off the HPD. It just didn't work out for him. So now he's just going to fall in behind Ernie Ludwig there. And it looks like Kip Leo is just going to stick ahead of them. And coming up from behind them is John Ottenbacher. Kind of entered that stage of the race. Kind of entered that stage of the race that people got what they got and just turning laps, prepping for that last chance that they got to make a bid for the lead. Yeah, so we're figuring that Dreiling has maybe 5 laps before he makes that last stop if we go according to what he's been doing in past performance there. His stops are about 10 to 12 seconds faster than everyone else. His last stop, lane overall, was 1:19 compared to the 1:32 of Ludwig, who's almost 7 seconds behind him. So he's not taking a full tank of fuel, and we don't even know whether on this last stop here if he's going to take tires or not. Maybe he's going to stretch those tires a little bit further and shave a little bit more time off of his pit stop. But we do know that Dreiling is going to have to stop again. And Snelson, the Corvette and the GT1, now 5th overall, 40 seconds behind our leader Dreiling, and picking up some time there with just over 34 minutes left of this race. And boy, is he throwing the back end of that car around. Kind of reminds me of watching Smokey and the Bandit as a kid. Just the way that the back end swinging around like that. And right behind him is Mark Herzog in the number 57 Aston Martin entry. He's got a really clean looking car. So those two there, I would expect to see up in the top 2 or 3 spots before this is over for sure. Donovan, is it just me, or there hasn't been a whole lot of headlight flashing going on in this race?
You know, I haven't noticed much. During the daytime, though, it can be difficult to see those depending on the angle of what we're looking at. So could be that. Could be the guys have been fairly communicative over the spotter radio, so in asking for passes and cleanliness. So it's been a lot more of a verbal communication race than where most races would tend to see.
Yeah, and most of these drivers have been very courteous and friendly. At what point do you decide that gloves are off and every man for themselves?
Oh, green flag, man.
I'm with you on that one. But I'm sure a lot of these drivers just want to get through to a certain point, and then they're just gonna go for it.
I would say, mentality-wise, the smart way to go about it is going to be in the last 10 minutes. It kind of depends on where you're at exactly in the race, but I'm thinking really, if I'm going to make a move, I'm going to really push the last 10 minutes, burn up those tires, and do what you can to grab those couple extra spots.
Yeah, and with some of these drivers still requiring a pit stop before the end, I'd probably wait it out until you're sure everyone's done their pits, and then just go for broke.
Yep. It looks like Dreiling did dive in, hit his pits, grab a little splash of fuel, and come back out. He's now in P9.
Yeah, and his pit lane time, 1:17.
Yes, that's what I was kind of guessing.
Which puts him almost a full lap, just over a minute behind the leader, Ernie Ludwig. And go Team Canada.
Hey.
Hey?
Hey, correct me if I'm wrong here. I'm looking through Mark Redeker. I am not seeing a pit stop for him on the 59 car.
Yeah, he was big junk earlier, and
Okay.
went and took a pit.
Yeah, I have down for him a 57-second pit stop, total time in lane 124 for one pit stop. I think he had an issue where he crashed it or something like that early in the race.
Yeah, I've got a bit the new setup that we just started using here, and I don't think I have it dialed in all the way.
Yeah, Redecker's car looks really, really good now. So it must have been some damage he took early on, and then he's got Ottenbacher all over him, trying to get by and catch the leaders. And smartly, he moves over and lets him go. We've got a slew of HPDs that are going to get by him.
Oh yeah, that's a freight train of fast is going to be blowing by his doors here real quick.
Great train of fast. I like that.
I like that. That's
Thank
good.
you.
You should copyright that.
Right?
Patent pending. Looking at Bruce Snelson running up on the number 8 of Gary Nichols. That is for 3rd position on the track. And we're just now at the 30-minute mark. 30 minutes to go.
Yeah, and
In the
Snelson's been
2 hour
fast
Sebring.
right from the hop, right when the GT1s were let loose. I don't think he's ever given up the lead.
Yeah, Stowe's been around him for majority of this race.
Yeah, the 127 and the 99 did exchange for a couple of times here and there, but I think Bruce has been the dominant of the GT3 cars, or GT1 cars, excuse me.
I have a hard enough time telling the difference between the Aston Martin and the Mercedes at times.
Yellow versus white, that's all I got. Yellow headlights versus white headlights.
Now looking back, the GT1's pit on lap 27 or 28, excuse me. So it is very well possible that they may have to pit again. I don't know exactly
But with that pit,
where that
do you just
correlates
stop
with
for
the
fuel
hour.
only or tires? I mean, Snelson's been throwing it around. I got to believe he's going to go for tires as well. But do some of these drivers take the chance to go fuel only?
If they do have to come down, I would just do a splash and go and get you enough to run you about 2 or 3 extra laps. That's all they're going to need. Yeah, it's getting very close now. You have Ernie Ludwig out front in the 26, CR Reed in the 52 in second, coming out of the hairpin. Then you have Snelson going through the hairpin right now, coming out in the 127. He's going to get there in the next couple of laps.
Yeah, I think this is a foregone conclusion. Unless Snelson pulls a Brightsman, this is his to throw away.
Oh, there's no apron around here, so. Leader in the HPD right now.
Paul Geringer in the 43 is our current leader. He's on the lead lap.
Yeah, he
Is
is.
he?
Yep,
Yep.
he is fresh on the lead lap. 1 minute and 30 back.
So he might. He is 10, 12 seconds faster. So that might happen.
Yeah, and his last lap was 1:53.3 compared to his fastest lap overall of a 1:52.3. So he's only a second off of his fastest lap.
And Snelson last lap ran a 1:57.792.
I think Snelson is going to get there, but let's go to the spreadsheets. Let's figure out if he's going to. How many laps has he got to make that happen?
He is coming up on second place right now. CR Reed going to take the right-hand side
And
of the track.
Him go.
And he lets him go. 127 going to come back into the racing line and head off towards turn number 1.
Yeah, and there's going to be about 15 laps left of this race.
I think Geringer might quite possibly pull out a top 10. I'm not so sure about getting closer than that.
I think he's going to do a little better than that because that's going to be shit. I'm not doing good.
Well, he's
going
to make up 84 seconds.
And in doing that, he's going to pull up here almost a minute in that time frame, over a minute.
And remember, I mean, the other thing to factor in there is the GT1 car could very well get by the GT3 cars. And then we got a whole new set of math to work out. So if I'm Geringer right now, I'm looking at Snelson, and thinking to myself, will I catch him by the end of the race? Because I'm fully expecting him to be the leader when I get there.
Only 4 seconds to lap difference. 153 flat, just about to a 157. You're only looking at 4 seconds to make up 1:20.
And we also don't know whether the GT1s need to make another pit stop or not. It could be close.
If they have to pit, then definitely HPD will get it. I don't think that anybody else is going to be hitting pit road anytime here.
Yeah, we already know that the GT3s don't need to make any more stops. We don't think that the HPDs will have to make it. We don't know whether that splash of fuel is needed for the GT1s.
You can hear the desperation over the radio of some of these guys who are also realizing that they need every second they've got, and they're asking for the GT3s to just gently get out of the way.
Do you guys, any of you guys use the Jimmy Johnson spotter pack?
Oh yeah.
So you know that whole thing, get those guys out of my way.
Right. I have the curse pack as well, so
yeah,
they light it up. My favorite is when I do mess up and you just.
Oh, it looks like we got a car. That would be Scott Kukas, blended in with the grass there.
Can't find him. I'm clicking.
Here we go. Back up front, 127 has all but caught the 26. They're working their way down. Turns 8 and 9 here. Once they get to Cunningham and Collier.
Now, Donovan, maybe you can look this up for me, but I noticed on Snelson's Corvette, there's 3 little lights on the side. And there was 3 before, there's 2 now. Is there something to that? Is that a positional thing?
Yes.
It should be.
Because I know with the GT3s, they get the number. Oh, there's the pass. Nelson getting around Ludwig.
Wow, look at him go.
And bringing Herzog with him. Herzog right behind the 26. Going to get held up just a tad bit, rolling out of the Le Mans corners. But right now, new leader, 127 in Bruce Snelson.
So you notice with Snelson, once he comes across that start-finish line, you see those 2 lights on the side of his car. That's going to become 1.
Oh, Herzog's around. Herzog is around in Sunset. He's got it gathered back underneath him. He's rolling again.
Yeah, and that's just a case of he saw that Snelson had gotten around. It was go time for him. He has to keep up, so he didn't want to lose him. And he just overdrove it.
Yep, and the 1 green light is on that 127, like you said.
Yep, and Herzog has lit up to 3.
It was just something that I happened to wonder because I saw Snelson's car and the lights kind of blended in with his car. It was like it fit the theme of the car, and then I looked again and there was 2 lights. So
yeah,
is there something to that? I guess it only applies to the top 3.
Yeah, and I do
Stowe
like that a lot of the guys run the GT3s, the GT3s and the HPDs run the lighted up sign. I can't talk.
Yeah, Aaron Stowe on pit road with another.
Oh, that's unfortunate for Stowe.
He's off again.
Michael Lane is going.
Now Stowe, that could have been an additional pit stop that we were talking about earlier, where Dreiling had, where he just short pitted to get some time in the beginning.
Now Stowe was one of the first ones to come in, and Snelson and Herzog stayed out a couple extra laps.
Yeah, he came in very, very early. I knew he would have to stop for at least a splash and go because the time just wasn't there to turn that many laps, even with the mapping.
They're 84. Tim Branson off in the grass again in his Audi. All he needs to do is hit the pace car, and he's done completed the trifecta here today.
Well, maybe he's just being impatient for dirt coming out.
Heard that too. Got Mark McFadden making his way around Mark Rediker. Back in 19th, that's the battle for 17th, I believe. If Gilder's not in front of him. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a ticket.
Yeah, we've got 14 cars on the lead lap right now. The last on the lead lap right now is AJ Clark, and he's a minute 29 behind our leader, Bruce Nelson.
Yeah, and Paul Geringer, he is closing that gap. He's P8 chasing down Aaron Stowe.
Yeah, he's a minute 5 back of the leader. His last lap, though, unfortunately, was a minute 57. He got held up on the way up
Oh,
there.
trying to get around Morgan.
Oh, 84 around again. This looks like the tower turn. Oh my God!
Use a car number.
84.
84.
Oh,
Tim
yeah.
Branson just off. He's pulling way wide now. I'm kind of questioning where he's going to pull back in, but that Audi does not look in good shape at all.
Nah, he was way off. He wrecked it. It was actually in the Le Mans turns, and he kind of pulled back out in front of traffic a wee bit.
Man, that must be scary going through Sunset after damage, not knowing whether the car's going to stick or not.
Right. I'm praying.
It looks like Snelson just has open track ahead of him, so he's just going to get away as fast and as far as he can over the second place car there.
Oh, a little loose in Sunset though. He was definitely
driving a little
turning
too
left
hard.
to go right. Ooh, Herzog.
But Herzog is driving just as hard. The two of them have just decided they're going to go for it and battle it out here. I mean, there's only a couple seconds difference between them, but I mean, there's less than 20 minutes left.
Yeah, that 57 Alliance machine, he's definitely giving her all she's got up, and he goes around.
And he goes around.
He's off in turn number 2.
And while that's happening right
Nothing
now,
really. Go ahead, Donnie.
Paul Geringer is putting the pass on to Aaron Stowe for P7.
Yeah, and Herzog kind of just lazily looped it around. I mean, they've probably been driving hard enough that they got the tire pressures up, and now it's real slick to drive.
We're under 20 minutes to go. Question is, can Geringer get around all of this traffic and make up a track and a half, or half a track, to try and get up there to Snelson?
And they've completed 48 laps. It'll be 49 at the line. I got to believe we're going to be about the 58, 59 lap mark that they got to make it to.
And Geringer came in on lap 29. He'll be close, according to the statistician in my ear. We're going to be pretty close on that 43 making it to the end.
Yeah, well, we noticed that last year as well at this race, where the leader had to be real careful not to push those times because it could mean the extra lap and then he'd be out of fuel.
Right, and right now, Geringer has passed Stowe. He is now up to P whatever that makes him 7.
That is 7.
Right, and you don't want to let second place go ahead to make that mistake because you're still out of fuel. So you want to stay ahead but control the pace of the race at the same time.
Nelson just took lap 50. Just started it, so Herzog way back there, about 11 seconds back after his little spin in turn 2 here.
And they've just told the Geringer that he's got the green light on fuel to make it to the end.
A lot of spotters clamoring, and there really wasn't any kind of communication. And he's coming up on, it looks like that is the 62 of Michael Lane, the 743. That's Mark Lossing. That's a battle for 6th.
Quick, look at 743. Yep. He's almost 3 wide on the front stretch.
Yeah, I was just gonna say to our producer, if we get a hold of Geringer, he's coming up into traffic right now, trying to make up that last bit of time, and he is held up. And Aaron Stowe had just told the group that we're good on fuel. Let's go. So it's go time for him, and he is a man on the move.
Oh man, he slammed on those brakes. Came out of that corner, had a rush. He was about to go to the outside of the car directly in front of him, and then he had a run, so they both dove out, and oh, that got hairy real fast.
Yeah, Geringer's in 6th overall right now. A minute 1 behind the leader, Snelson. And once I find out what his lap is going to be, he really has to turn up the wick on his times.
Oh yeah, and that did not help him out. He lost easily a good 2 seconds there.
Looking at he's battling with a lap down car, over 17 laps down to be exact, at 75 in Morrison. Had to back her down way hard.
Now, do you guys figure there might be some team orders coming into play now? Like, there's obviously they don't have to move out of the way for the faster cars, but if you're a couple of laps down like that, do you hold him up to make sure that your teammate can retain his position?
Well, it's a lap down car when you're not running for position or for anything like that. Hold your line, let the leaders get by you in a comfortable place, and let those guys battle it out.
Well, I was thinking more along the lines of the car he just passed is a teammate, I believe, of Ernie Ludwig up in 2nd. Maybe there was some team orders to make it a little bit more difficult than it needed to be for him to get by.
Canadian racers.
We don't say sorry a lot for no reason. You know that, right?
Well, Herzog is making his way off of the pit lane.
Yeah, and that's going to put him in 5th place, 58 seconds behind the leader. So, it's going to be close the way we're talking. He's got Geringer right behind him, who we all know can go to the end. Nelson may have to make that pit stop, and it'll make it a real close race at the end.
Yeah,
Ludwig, 31 seconds behind Snelson right now. It could be anyone's race by the end of this with just over 13 minutes to go.
Yeah, well, he's still going. If we're looking at 13 minutes, we're looking at least 7 more laps.
No, I think it's 5, maybe 6.
Here we go. Following Herzog right now. He's got Geringer in the 43 right behind him.
Yeah, Geringer's licking his chops at this point, and Herzog is just driving the wheels off of that car.
You'll see a little bit of speed difference. Where the HPD really shines is through the bends.
Yeah, I think hugs the ground so well.
Oh yeah, especially going through Sunset Bend. I've seen him lap after lap just hug that inside corner and take off.
So this is where he had all the advantage over the GT3s that got tied up with right here as he got on the gas. He was able just to dominate over those two guys, but they just got pinched 3 wide.
Well, he is up to 5th now. He's got his eyes set on 4th. And Gary Nichols going to take the left-hand side very commandingly.
Geringer's last lap, 153.1.
Good Lord. And he's 10 seconds
he got the
faster
green
than
light. I guess he put his mapping back and he just took off because that's only about 0.8 of a second off his fastest lap of the race. And I'm going to watch for the action on the track because if everyone heard, there was something happened.
Ooh, 84, around and a hairpin right in front of Geringer.
Luckily, it didn't involve anyone else, but Branson just has no front end to his car, and it looks like he's probably done for the day. He's limping around the track, but I can't see there being anything but required repairs to do.
Well, Herzog gives me his way around Gary Nichols as well. Going to put Herzog up into P5. Now, with Geringer and Herzog, they are looking to take over that 3rd position from C.R. Reed.
And they are. Geringer's now 2 seconds off of Reed.
And there's nobody between. Oh, yeah, he's just flying.
This is turning out to be one great story. I mean, last year we saw the GT3s just kind of pace themselves and beat out everyone else, and now it's come down to possibly the GT1 needing to fuel save. And whoa, Geringer just making it a tight, close call there. And Geringer, can he make it up to the front? Or can Ernie Ludwig beat them both out?
Yeah,
He's
52 seconds back.
I
10
mean, we've
minutes to
got
go.
GT1, GT3, and HPD all in the front three positions.
and as a Predator format, that is exactly what it is you're looking for. And the way Mike Williette set this up, I mean, you couldn't ask for a better top three right now with these minutes to go.
Yes, Nelson's
Oh.
last lap, 157.5. Ludwig's last lap, 2 minutes, 3 seconds. And Paul Geringer, 153.5.
Yeah, if he's only making it 4 seconds, he is not going to get there.
Yeah. So, I mean, like you said, Wes, according to lap times, Geringer will not get there. But does Nelson have the fuel? We saw Herzog have to pull off. Does Nelson need to do the same?
It almost didn't need to come down to that. He about got taken out about two times that last lap. And about ran off coming out of turn 16.
I mean, this isn't about class lead. It's about overall. It's a Predator format. It's set up so that there is one winner and the first loser starts at second, regardless of what kind of car you drive.
And this all plays towards the championships that the pack majors have, which are vast to go through all of them. But they have they don't play class like we have here with the three different classes. They have total championships for the Northwest, for the West, for Canada, for all the different clubs have individuals. Plus they have sportsmen, and they have our elder brethren have their own championships run for plus one grand total championship.
And it's looking like there could be 4 more laps to go once Nelson hits the line if he keeps up the current pace.
And look who took second.
Yeah, Snelson having problems with getting around lap traffic, ran a 2:01 last lap. So the lap traffic could come into more of a factor than the actual fuel strategy.
Well, like I said, if he paces himself wrong, he's got to do that extra lap. So I don't know how much of that is him being held up or him just backing it off a little bit to make sure that there isn't too many laps for him to run. Although seeing him go on to the Le Mans S's onto a Mans corner, he's just flying. He's launching that car.
Yeah, we are having a 39.5-second lead split between Bruce and Paul.
Yeah, and Ernie has been, or Ernie's still up. No, he should be passed.
Yeah, Ernie's third.
Ernie's back to third now.
So Geringer now has some time to catch up.
And if he maintains a 10-second advantage per lap,
he's coming in.
Halsey.
Here we go.
Yep,
All
there is
right.
pit stop. That hands lead over to
He's got
Gary.
to hurry. You said the 42nd thing too there, Cafe, earlier. Or somebody said it.
Yeah, it was me that said it. And this is going to be really, really tight.
All right, keep an eye on the 43. He's coming down the Allman Straight. Snelson.
He would have to pull off. He would have to pull off an 18-second stop for it to be 42 seconds and turn up with Geringer.
All
There
right,
he's off.
Snelson.
9.6 seconds.
Sunset.
It was a splash of fuel, no tires.
And no,
What's going to
Pit lane
happen?
time 33.6 seconds. That puts Geringer with it 7 seconds back.
Yep, that's going to kill him right there.
Yep.
And
Geringer.
it's probably going to go 3 more laps, and Geringer within 2 laps is going to catch him.
Yeah, even on good days, they're 4 to 5 second split. That's a 2-lap catch and pass right there.
Now we know that Snelson can make it to the end. We know that Ludwig can make it to the end. Geringer may or may not make it to the end. Snelson's only thing that he can play out here is hope that Geringer crosses that line and forces an extra lap.
Yeah, that's about it. Geringer passing around lap traffic back there. I believe that was the 81.
Yeah, because they're probably looking at 3 to go when they come across the line. And Geringer is going to catch up quick. He's 2 seconds back now.
Yeah, he's got him this lap, if not. by a hairpin next time around. Nelson
so-
at 127 is going to lose his lead here in the closing minutes.
Yeah. And if I'm Snelson, I'm just driving the wheels off that car because I want to force the extra lap and hope that Geringer didn't plan on the extra lap to happen.
Yeah, well, that's a gamble, but it's the only one he's got right now to play.
Well, I mean,
Oh,
Snelson's in
leader
control at this
now.
point.
Half a second.
Yeah, he'll have it going through Sunset Bend there because we've seen lap after lap after lap that Geringer can hug that inside line.
Here we go. Turn 17 coming out to the front stretch. Geringer to the outside on the left hand. He's going to take over the lead here with 5 minutes to go.
Right at the line. That was fantastic.
So there's going to be there's going to be 3 laps. Can Geringer get 3 more laps out of this car?
Now, if you're Geringer, do you now change your map to your slowest map and just stay right in front of him?
Well, that's all he has to do
Yeah.
is just stay ahead of Snelson. Because you already know that Snelson's got fuel to make the extra lap. Just make sure that you're ahead of Snelson.
So right
I mean,
now,
he could just tuck in behind Snelson and just drive laps and pass him with a lap to go.
Yeah, I'd still get in the lead.
Yeah, you're always safer in the lead because if the car ahead just goes off track or whatnot, you're caught up in this mess. But Geringer now off to a 2.3 second advantage. So we got to wonder, does Geringer have enough for that extra lap if he needs it?
What a heartbreaker right now. That 127 crew is livid, I can guarantee it right now.
Yeah, and the 99 of Aaron Stowe now up in third.
He's got 34 seconds over. Oh, he's driving all over the place. Whoa! That 127.
I mean, that's his only option at this point, is just drive the wheels off of that thing.
Yeah, see if he'll have an accident or if Geringer can do something wrong. But you also don't want to let Stowe catch you.
And Geringer's up in the lap traffic, and that's got to really be nerve-wracking too, because the last thing you want is to get taken out by lap traffic.
Who's that that spun out right there in front of?
That's
Stelson?
Tim Branson again. Out and around again. Oh, and he gets hammered. Mark McFadden just clobbers him.
That is
McFadden was
not
running
what you
12th
want to
at
be
the time.
seeing.
And he was running 12th at the time. Oh,
Oh, that is horrible.
So going back with your leader right now, Geringer, he's got a couple of GT3 cars to get around as he passes through turn 1 there.
He's not
2
slowing
minutes.
down.
No, he's not slowing down.
He's doing a 154.1 in traffic.
If I'm his crew chief, I'm hoping he has enough gas for that extra lap. Because he's not only going to have to complete this lap, he's going to have to do one more.
well, he came down for service on lap 28. So if you double for a stint, that'd be 56. So he's gonna have to hope that he doesn't have to. Well, he's gonna run at least one more lap. He's gonna have to hope that he has that fuel in there for
That's
that
what I'm
next
saying.
lap.
It's going to be close, judging by his pit strategy. He's got one more lap to do. And it's light on fuel. You can see the back end swinging out of it when he gets on the gas.
I think it's just dancing back there.
So it's not over yet for Snelson, but he's got to drive it as fast as he can. I'm sure that Geringer has changed the mapping on his fuel so that he can conserve some now that he's up front.
He's not conservative. He's turned 150. He's not even a whole second off of his pace while he was in traffic. Meanwhile, Snelson is at a 157 pace, so he is lighting that thing up as hard as you can push it.
That's all that Snelson can do.
Down Sunset. Here comes the 43. Should see the white flag this time around.
Yeah, and we may or may not see that white flag on our display just because of the way that they flag these timed events. But we're expecting this to be the white flag lap.
All right, powering off of Sunset. One more time around for the 43. Paul Geringer. 17 more turns.
Yeah, we're going to keep an eye on Geringer here. Snelson now 3.5 seconds back. Geringer may run out of fuel. He just said it on the radio.
Oh,
Snelson, 3.5 seconds back. I bet you he is licking his chops because he knows he has the fuel. And if he had the choice, I'm sure that he pushed Geringer to run as fast as he possibly could to put him in that spot.
oh, I love the team spirit here.
Here we go. Geringer
Snelson gaining on Geringer.
And Geringer visibly slower on the track, trying to keep that HPD at some sort of speed without letting it tap out.
It's not over yet, but I mean, once he hits that Oman straight, that could be where he can coast it and be out of fuel. So we'll really keep an eye on Geringer here. Snelson 3 seconds back. He's off track.
He's out.
And he's out, and that hands it over to Snelson, who's going to really catch up to him.
He's staying out the way, though.
Snelson gets by.
Bruce Snelson to the lead here, working his way into the Le Mans corners. 127 on the last lap. Paul Geringer runs out.
By that much.
Taking the toe. Oh, man.
Here we go for the final time through sunset. Bruce Snelson, the 127 Corvette C6 GT1, is going to come out of sunset, hit the start-finish line, and he's going to win here in the 2 hours of Sebring.
And Aaron Stowe right behind, 37 back of him. So, I mean, Snelson did a great job of planning strategy there.
What a heartbreaker for that 43. It was right there in his hand. It was right there.
The emotions these last 8 laps of who's got what, when, where, why, and how. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and we got Stowe coming around the Sunset Bend there. He's going to cross the line second, about 38 seconds behind, and then behind him is C.R. Reed, who's almost a full minute.
And that'd be the first GT3. Now, I believe Stephen Paulson will be the first HPD to finish if he can make it back around here. So Paulson makes his way all the way back up to 9th.
Yep, Paulson right now heading out towards the Le Mans S's and going through for the Oman Straight there. He's a minute 39 behind what Snelson had for the lead.
Man, oh man.
That was an amazing finish. Just like last year. So I definitely look forward to that and the future races they do in this format. Congratulations to Mike Ouellette, who amazing math skills pulled off a great finish here.
And there he goes for 9th. Jared Morgan going to bring her home in 10th if he can make it around sunset one more time. Everybody else is going to finish 1 lap down to the leader. Your winner, Bruce Snelson. Yeah, he's already gotten out of his car, ready to get a victory lane and crack a couple bottles of orange juice. And there's Morgan. Awesome race. Awesome race.
That running out of fuel puts Geringer 7th place.
Still not bad.
Well, it's not as good as first, though.
No, it's definitely not. Not even as good as second. Or third.
Impressive race.
All right. Well, I guess we'll get you your final results up here, or unofficial results up here in a second.
Just waiting out the last of the cars to cross the start-finish line there, and then we'll give you your finishing results there.
Yeah, Morgan is on the track, but I think he took
Everybody's already done.
Yeah, so they're just out dinking.
All right, your winner here, the 2 hour of Sebring champion, Bruce Snelson. Aaron Stowe is going to finish in second. Both of those in GT1s. Your first GT3 is C.R. Reed in a 52 in third. Gary Nichols in fourth. Christopher Sherburne in fifth. Ernie Ludwig in sixth. Paul Gehringer, your first HPD after running out of fuel on the last lap, going to come home in seventh. Eighth is Mark Lossing, Stephen Paulson in ninth, and Jared Morgan's going to round out your top 10. You have D. Palmer in 11th, Tom Dreiling in 12th, Robert LaRonde in 13th, Chris Beck 14th, John Ottenbacher 15th, Mark McFadden in 16th, Matt Gelder in 17th, Eddie Bussieri in 18th, AJ Clark in 19th, and Mark Rediker rounding out your top 20. 21st went to Eugene Wilkinson, Mark Hertzog in 22nd, Scott Kukas 23rd, Scott Wanbaugh 24th, Kip Leo 25th, Chris Branson in 26th. 27th went to Michael Lane, 28th, Garrett Hulsey, 29th, Tim Branson, Jeremy Morrison in 30th, 31st, Ray Forner, Chad Yoshitomi in 32nd, 33rd, Drew Lalonde, and Brett Schrosen's going to run out your field after Seth Alberts decided to make a starting part and going to finish 35th.
Wow. That was one heck of a finish we saw there. I mean, we wondered, does Gehringer have the fuel? And we all thought that he had the green light to go, but that extra lap, that was the make or break deal. One fewer lap, and Gehringer would have had that.
Yeah, if anybody is out there watching the broadcast right now that finished in top 3, if you would kindly come to our TeamSpeak, I'd like to give you an interview.
Right.
We're going to wait a couple minutes there. We do have a couple people. See if Donna wants to pull up anybody.
So I mean, it came down to we all thought that Snelson would have to make that splash for fuel, and would he give up the lead? He not only gave up the lead, but he got to captain his own ship and determine his destiny, pushing Granger to use up his fuel and cause that extra lap.
I don't know. I think him trying to catch the GT1 is what did it. He ran a little bit harder than he should have. He probably could have went to a different mapping and it would have been all right. But
well, I mean, if he had gone to a different mapping for one more lap, because you could tell he was doing some fuel saving. But it's that one lap difference, and I keep saying that it's that extra lap. It's not really an extra lap, but it's the number of laps you can turn in that time period.
Right. And versus the clock and clock management, just like in football and basketball and everything else, huge.
very huge. Anybody down there want to come up here for a minute?
Let's go check on who we've got hanging out, milling outside the booth.
So we get to come back after about a 3-week hiatus, coming back with the Sam Maxwell Customs ASRS Truck Series. They got a new title sponsor. That's our Tuesday night thing. Coverage starts at 9 o'clock on the channel here on YouTube, Off Camera TV. Later on in the week, Thursday, we have the Northwest Truck Series. It's got a lot of people that we just saw in this Sportsman Split for the Blackbird 2 hours of Sebring. That starts at midnight Eastern, 9 o'clock Pacific time. And do we have anybody?
Yeah, I found Matt Gelder, who finished, looks like P17. Hold on. Matt Gelder, you got yours on?
And work.
Hey, man, great job today. You ran a mostly clean race, it looked like. You finished one lap down on the field in your Aston Martin. Tell us real quick, what was going on out there with you?
I was not very prepared today, and I decided not to leave all the windows closed. So it is about 100 degrees in this place, and I'm sweating like a pig. So that's kind of where most of my mistakes came today.
Oh, heat exhaustion will get you every time.
Oh yeah. Other than that, I had a pretty good setup. I thought I was gonna do a little bit better, but yeah, my mistakes kind of cost me. So I'm kind of happy. Top 20, not too bad. I just have to look forward to the next Predator race and kind of redeem myself.
Cool. All right. Well, who do you got for some shout outs? Anything like that?
Oh, we got, of course, the good usuals. We got the RC Sparks, DJ Medic, Aaron, main sponsor. And then we have Glenn over at simability.com. And then we have Grossim. We got One Too Many RCs. We got Luke going. And then we got Patricio, who paints all my cars. So, and of course, Turn 5 Sim Sports. Can't forget the team.
Awesome. Real good, man. Hey, we're proud of you. You done a good race. Looks like you're loading up a mostly clean car. So we will see you guys the next Pacific Majors race.
All right. Thanks. And good job as always, you guys.
Appreciate it, man.
Yeah, well, Cafe, what'd you think about today?
Well, you know what? I wasn't sure whether it was a one-off deal with last year. We're having such a tight race, but to have it one on the last lap over fuel management and time and managing the clock as Donovan put up, that was just an incredible race to watch. You couldn't tell who was going to win until the last couple of minutes, and even then, you never knew for sure.
Well, once again, I think the Pacific Majors, Michael made a fantastic Predator format for these guys, and it ended better than I think anybody could have scripted.
Yeah, you got that right. That was a lot closer than last year.
Want me to bring Morgan up?
Yeah, I mean, last year we had a GT3 driver that just turned perfect lap after perfect lap, and nobody could catch him. And in this time around, it just worked out beautifully.
Yeah, it definitely did. I mean, it was that came down to the wire. That was incredibly entertaining to watch because I wrote the HPD off in the beginning of the race about an hour in. Like, there's no possible way they can come back from 4 or 5 laps down and insert foot in mouth. So, yeah, it was a definitely entertaining race. Very happy that one came out the way that it did. Like I said earlier, Tuesday we've got ASRS Truck Series. We'll come out and check us out 9 o'clock Eastern.
Yeah, and
On
then
the
all of
YouTube.
our broadcasts we have listed through our website on offcambertv.com. So if you're wondering when the next broadcast is or where it's going to be, that's definitely a place to check it out.
Yep. So for Tony Knuckles running the cameras, Cafe Ole, also known as David Williamson in the booth, as well as Donovan Johns, I am Winston Mess, and we are out. Thank you for watching.